go.
That was the second episode in a row.
Fuck you, Empirical.
Where you tried to open
I mean,
a
I love you,
growler,
Empirical. I love you.
And it sounds like a fart.
Here we go.
Okay.
That was good.
Oh man, that chocolate is weird.
Look at that. It's thick.
Oh gosh.
All right.
All right.
Here we are.
Julie, I thought you had some questions.
Oh, yeah. Questions about the gathering. Excuse me, microphone. You're moving this way. Allison.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the gathering?
Je suis prêt. What else did you want to know?
I wanted to know who was coming to the gathering.
Je suis prêt.
Mm-hmm. And what do you hope to get from this year's gathering?
Je suis prêt. And Julie, one more.
One more question?
Yeah, I've got one for you. Are you ready to start this episode?
Je suis prêt.
That's even better than I hoped. Oh, that's even better than I hoped.
Well, you guys, I just want you to know, when we get to the hunt scene, you're going to have to give me a minute. Just remember that.
Okay. I am Alice Shoemaker.
I'm Julie Starbird.
And this is Janine.
What's up?
Janine's name is actually Erin Pagel. I feel like I should say that every couple episodes. And this is Outlander Drunkcast and Outlander Podcast. We are talking about Season 1 in our Season 1 rematch. Rematch.
Essentially rematch.
Rewatch. Season 1 rewatch. This is episode 4, The Gathering. And if you listen to episode 3, you might be aware that there was going to be a gathering.
There was something coming. It sounded like a party.
Could be.
And all of our rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
There's something due any day. I will know right away. Soon as it shows. Making cannonballs down the sky, gleaming as bright as a rose. Oh, fuck. I fucked up the rolled R. I was really going to nail that joke. It was going to be, I was going to sing West Side Story, and it was going to be bright as a rose. And I fucked it up. God damn it. What the fuck is wrong with me?
It's okay. One growler down.
Oh, je suis prêt. Anyway, so now we're at The Gathering, which has been teased for approximately 76 episodes.
Years.
Yeah, year episodes.
Feels like it.
And you know what? It's a good episode. It's not like, I wouldn't put it in my top 3 for the season, would you?
No, but it's funny because
good.
they hype it like it's gonna be that.
Well, I wonder if it's actually just the characters that are hyping it because they have nothing else in their lives.
You know what? They don't, except porridge. And
I'm sorry, porridge.
And maybe like a little slap and pickle in the stables or whatever. That's kind of it, though.
Pickle tickle.
Pickle tickle. I did tickle my pickles today, by the way, though. My ones that I'm fermenting.
But you're like your actual pickles.
Yeah, no. My actual pickles that I'm fermenting. I skimmed them. I tickled them.
Great.
Moved them around.
That's
just
great.
saying. I tickled my pickle.
I ate some pickles. So there's that. I suppose when I was digesting them, it tickled. Got nothing else. Anyway, so The Gathering gets teased like it's the fucking wedding, and it's not.
It's not.
And that's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. So
It is a great big party, though, and you get to see a lot of people. And
it also features a great cameo, which we'll talk about later.
You get to
and some great costumes. There's some great costuming in this episode.
You learn a lot more about the Highlander culture.
Yeah.
That's cool. So the little teasy beginning thing is a tartan with a pin. We're like, is it Je suis prêt?
No, it's Latin, dumb Latin, which means
Latin.
I shine not burn.
Blatten. All right.
Et tu bru tabatum.
And then all of a sudden we hear running in the forest, and then we see watchmen on these big timber posts with guns, and it's like, wait a minute. Okay. And then we see Claire running through the woods, and we're led to believe that she's trying to escape and she's got to get past these watchmen, but really, she's just playing with some kids, man. She's just running some kids through the yard.
Like one does.
But then we realize that her games actually have a point, because she is like Hansel and Greteling her way through the woods and figuring out a path for her to get out.
I gotta say, it's a real waste of a decent hair ribbon.
Twice.
Many times, I would assume.
Something, and also, It's not like dudes or people who leave the castle are not walking through these woods and be like, who left this ribbon here?
Who left the ribbon here?
Gross.
So she's essentially trying to Hansel and Gretel her way out of this forest, which in a certain way makes sense, right? Like, she knows there's about to be this giant party where everyone in the castle is going to be drunk or distracted. It makes sense that would be a good time for her to Hansel and Gretel her way out. I just want to make sure that Claire remembers that Hansel and Gretel almost got eaten by a witch.
Yeah, they almost end up in an oven, dude.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough.
It's real close.
Although they had a great meal afterwards.
So she is doing all this with the kids and finally gets sent back on her way to the castle. And as she goes back, all of the clans members who have come for the gathering are like camping out on the grounds of Castle Leoch. So there's like all these people from all the vast wilds of the Mackenzie clan just camping, just hanging out, singing some songs, fucking around, making jokes. Kids are playing ball, whatever. People are hanging out. It's like a big picnic.
It's very festive. It looks like Bonnaroo, only Radiohead is not there.
And Claire is actually very kind of appreciative of it. And like, it's really nice to see people just being happy to see each other and reconnecting. And so she's kind of caught up in it a little bit.
I need to real briefly say, we usually save the beer we're drinking for the end because we're not being sponsored by.
We might not say it if we do it this time.
But God, well, that's true. But also, God, this is really good.
It's
Oatmeal
delicious.
Stout is way.
What's the name of the oatmeal stout?
It is Empirical Brewing's Oatmeal Stout.
But they have a name for it. Will you Janine it, please?
Let me Janine this.
So Empirical Brewing, which, as you might have guessed from listening, is right down the street.
We do drink a lot of
We
their
drink
brew.
a lot of their beer. It's a really good oatmeal stout. We thought we would drink it because it seemed gathering-ish, like it's very fall. And
It seemed Rhenish.
it did seem Rhenish.
Oh, it's called Singularity Oatmeal Stout.
Singularity oatmeal stout. It's great.
It's
isn't
really
it?
good.
It's
And
very
I
good.
don't typically go for a stout, but it's
And
delicious.
we didn't talk about it beforehand because what you heard was Julie opening the growler because we don't fake this shit. She opened that and then poured
Because
it.
I'm real.
Way you walk. God, I really tried to be there for you.
I led you into a Ja Rule joke, and you were there,
no,
though.
you led me into an Ashanti joke.
Yeah. Well, but Ja Rule's the one that you were doing.
Well, sure,
Yeah,
but come on.
Whatever.
Anyway, so she's running through the woods, and then she goes back, and it's finally like, yeah, sure, let's go back. And Angus and Rupert are still tailing her.
And I believe that Rupert maybe says some shit to her that sounds like, and I can't tell if this is actually what he said to her, hums my cock. I think he actually asked her to hum on his fucking cock. Like, hum.
Which
my cock.
coincidentally, what sound does the dick rock make?
Oh. Yeah. So kind of the same sound. So I think Rupert may have actually told Katrina to hum his nuts, but I don't know.
Anyway, this begins the Claire skullduggery we see in this episode, which tells us that while Claire might not be a very good time traveler, she is good at creating a shifty as fuck plot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she knows what's up. So basically, she picks just a random woman, and this poor woman, I mean, don't get me wrong, both those dudes are pretty good looking. They're not like Murtaugh or Jamie good looking, but they're not bad looking. They're charming. So, because they're actors. So,
Yeah.
like, right? But she picks, like, a random woman in the courtyard and is like, oh, that woman was looking at you.
And the woman actually was, though, for real, though, to be safe.
Was she?
Oh, yeah. They have a glance at her, and she's like, you can't tell who she's looking at, but you find out later who she was probably looking at.
Oh, see, I was too busy trying to figure out if either of them was wearing underwear under their kilts.
Plus, she was incredibly lusty wench. Like, she's presented as lusty wench. Like, her
up
shirt
to
is
here.
falling out, and, like, she's ready to go. And the gathering does give a lady a chance to, like, butterfly about, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, to mow her lawns.
To just get fucked.
This is second growler. We're not.
Yeah.
You know what? I hope that Mrs. Fitz gets laid as fuck during the gathering.
I bet she does get laid.
I hope she does. Anyway, well, presumably she's married. She's Mrs. Fitz.
Yeah.
Well, then good.
But is he dead? We never see him.
That's true. I
Yeah.
hope that she gets to hit it and then quit it.
Hit it and quit it, because that's what the gathering
Anyway,
is about.
point being, she basically is like, "Oh, Rupert and Angus,
Look at that
look at
lusty
that
witch."
lady," and they immediately go into full. So this week I read an article about how Jane Goodall was saying that Donald Trump is acting like a male gorilla. And she's a scientist, so anyway, it's a little bit like that. They immediately go into like, bro, no, it's me, bro, and they're trying to fix their long hair that doesn't need fixing, and like, so it becomes this pissing contest.
Sort of. And so she manages to get rid of one of them right away because they have to draw sticks. Like, she's like, all right, fine, you guys will draw straws for it, and Angus wins. So Angus goes to, pitch woo to this bitch.
Oh, I think it's Rupert that wins because Angus is the one that gets really excited about
No, Angus wins the first time, but then Rupert's the one that gets her later.
Yeah.
So Angus wins the stick pick.
Stick pick.
The dick
tick,
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 tick.
The stick pick where he gets to pitch the woo to the
Tick,
bitch.
tick, 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 tick.
He does get to pitch woo to the bitch. So Angus is like, ha ha ha, with no teeth, and I gotta go. And Rupert's like kind of blue. And then he follows Katrina into the castle. And then this is very strange. So she's starting to set up her whole thing, as Allison said, where she's like gathering things for her trip to get out. And the music is all 40s music that's playing.
Yeah, it's like reminding you that she doesn't really belong. And we've heard a little of that earlier on. Like in the first episode, we hear them play that song that goes, "Run, rabbit, run," which I assume is called Death to Nazis.
Yeah.
Run, rabbit, run. And then you hear her humming it later. Mm-hmm. So this is the first time since then that they embrace the anachronistic shit. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's just a reminder that she doesn't belong here.
Is it that she's an Outlander?
Julia, I think it's that she's a time traveler.
Oh, all right.
No, it's that she's an Outlander.
It is. So she's moving through the castle, trying to like get all of her shit together.
She's like, "Ooh, a loaf of bread. Ooh, a thing of medicine."
And
ooh,
then
some
she
Maxi
goes
pads.
down
It's
to
great.
her herb dungeon, and guess who's there? Galus. Mm-hmm. Just hanging out. Freaks Claire out because Claire is single-minded right now. She's got a goal, and that goal is to get to the Dick Rocks. And that goal did not include Galus hanging out in her herb
Who
dungeon.
immediately is like, "Why the fuck do you have so much food? And also, why do you have these berries that knock people out?
And are you pregnant?
I don't know if you've noticed, but Galus is pretty quick on the uptake.
Yeah, Galus is just like boom,
Claire
boom, boom.
is very smart, not always so quick on the uptake. Mm. Galus gets it like 3 steps before you do.
Yeah. So Galus is digging around, trying to figure it out. Why the fuck do you have all this food packed up like a picnic? What are you going to do with that? Are you pregnant? Are you eating for 2 people?
Also, who are you trying to kill?
Valerian root. Like, why do you have this enormous piece of it? You could kill like 20 people with this. Well, I usually put it in tea. And then you're like, that comes back later. So Galus is totally sniffing around. And then I don't remember how that scene ends, but Galus leaves. And Mrs. Fitzgibbons.
This is what happens. She goes, "Bitch, you get it. See ya." And
deuces. And she leaves. But then Mrs. Fitzgibbons is like, "Oh, Claire, you don't look good enough.
you're not dressed up enough for the gathering.
You need a dress.
You need a dress."
And so we get a little montage
Like-
of Claire
like-
getting all dressed up.
Imagine that Hall & Oates is playing in the background because it's basically like,
You're a rich girl, and I had a gun, and you know it didn't matter anyway.
I was going to go with,
You can rely
whatever
on your
you
old
got
man's
that
money.
might be
You
hard
can
to
rely
handle.
on your old
And
man's
the flame
money.
that burns
They're
a
all kind of the
candle.
same song.
A candle in a lamp. Oh, yeah, what I got inside.
And then she puts on this dress that is kind of shitty.
Oh, I love it. I think
No,
it's great.
I did not like it.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
I did not like it. It looked like she was the Harry and David package. And then the choker is like the same matching plaid. It's too matchy. It's not good.
Well, no, but go ahead and this is flashing forward. We won't name character names. Remember in season 2, the character that gets dressed in head to toe plaid?
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as bad as that.
No, truly not. But it also is like, whose dress was this that Miss Fitz was like, oh, this'll fit her. Let's just grab this one. Was it just in the closet? Was it one of Mrs. Fitz's old dresses from like 20 years ago?
So
We'll
I
never
like
know.
to imagine that they just have a roster of dresses for visitors or some shit.
Just
And
like a
this
visitor.
one, Mrs. Fitz was
It's like a fancy restaurant where you come in and they're like, you need a coat, sir.
Totally. But Mrs. Fitz obviously loves Claire because not only is she awesome, she just
Saved
in the
her
last
nephew.
episode saved her nephew. So I bet she was like, you know what? She really needs to fit in. Let me find the most Scottish looking fucking outfit I possibly can.
To dress
Let's
as
put
Sassy
that girl
Mackin.
on this.
Right. So
Right.
she puts her in this plaid number and it's very neutral so she won't stand out.
Also, I mean, her tits look great.
I mean, yeah, great. I mean, Katrina is very pretty, but this dress is not the best. But it is also good in that it aligns her with a clan, but also is very neutral, so she doesn't stand out. And then Mrs. Fitz is like taking her up into the gallery, and
Which
then
Claire doesn't want to go to because part of her plan is that she's
to
just
get
gonna-
out.
Right.
Right. And so she goes up there, and then there's this shady ass bitch who tries to step up in Mrs. Fitz's shit, and it's like, I see you clean this place as much as a baby's butt. I don't know.
It's
something clean.
bright as a new pen. And when I watched it the first time, I thought it was bright as a new
Bairn, which I thought it was too.
baby. But I checked a quote somewhere and it said bright as a new pen. I think it's funnier if it's bright as a new bairn.
And then Mrs. Fitz is like, oh, thanks, Mary. You look great in that dress you wore last time.
Ooh, that dress again. You wore it so well to the last gathering.
Shade. That's
Like
shade.
world-class shade. And you just go like, man, that bit actress, she did a great job with her 2 lines.
But,
Spoiler.
Diana Gabaldon.
Yeah. It's great.
It's the actual author of this entire story.
Which, you know what? Scottish accent on point. She
You did a
lives
good
in
job.
New Mexico.
You did a good job.
Yeah, Diana.
But she did get a shady moment, which was good. And so Mrs. Fitzgibbons takes Claire over to the edge of this gallery section.
hanging out with Murtaugh.
And just happens to be standing there next to Murtaugh, who can translate for her. Yeah, oh, God, he's hot. And so he's standing there telling her what's happening. And down on the floor, Colum walks laboredly in his new short frock coat.
His appropriate length frock coat.
Walks all the way up to his throne, I guess. A throne is
Along
probably
the
the
way,
wrong word.
he steps over the blood of the tailor he murdered.
Yeah. And he gets up there and he turns around and has this great inspirational speech about how proud he is of the clan and how if anybody had to take up iron, I would never do it with anyone that wasn't as good as my men, my Mackenzie men. You know, he's like whipping them into a frenzy. Like, we all belong to this clan and we all mean something to each other.
To like hound.
Yeah. And then dudes have to come up and give their oath.
And Dougal is the first, and he gets up and he kneels and he says, by the power of the man who invented golf, I swear to you that I will fuck all of the young women who worship me in the future and also do everything you say, Laird.
And this knife is for you to plunge into my breast if you feel that I am not worthy.
This knife is for you, and so is this bud.
Yeah. And then he stands up and Colin reaches over and gets this big ass silver coupe, like it's this big dish thing. And it's this whole communion style thing where Colin drinks out of it and then the person who's pledging fealty drinks out of it. And I'm thinking, disgusting.
Question, Julie, I can't remember. Does anyone say at any point, wow, Colin must be hammered by now in the show?
No.
That's in the book. In the book, at some point, someone is like, I cannot believe, and it must be Claire, right? Future. Someone says, I can't believe that he's not fall down drunk right now. Because it's Ranish.
And he has to take a shot every time somebody's up there. And there's like 70 guys in the line.
Oh, more than.
Yeah.
It's a huge.
All the able-bodied men who could fight for the clan are in line to pledge fealty.
I wonder if
one at a time.
I wonder if his crazy legs are hollow.
Snaps.
Anyway, so they're swearing this oath, and Claire goes, continuing with the show doing a really good job of making Claire a bad actress. She goes, well, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
I've got to go. And then leaves. Like, that's not shady or
like
weird.
any woman in the world would willingly walk away from Murtaugh.
So she leaves. And then she gets stopped by Angus, and he tries to talk to her about something like he's got to go with her or whatever. And she's like, well, I was going to drink a little. And she pulls out this flask, and she says, it's port. And he doesn't know what port is, and she's like, it's very expensive or something. And she takes
It's the first indication you get that what's his name? It's Steven something who plays Angus.
Stephen Walters.
Stephen Walters is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he goes, "What's his port?"
Part. And he does. He tries to say it like an English person.
It's very funny.
And then she uncorks it and takes a big sip out of it and then just hands it to him. And while he's tipping it back, she turns around and spits it out. And so we know she's put the valerian in there. She's going to try to knock his ass out.
"Oh, 'tis strong." And she goes,
Yes.
yes, it's a sedative.
And then he's like, sedative. And he keeps drinking it. And you're like, you're done.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And then she goes to leave, and this time she's running down into the dungeon, and she's getting all her shit together, like her cheese and her meat and all that shit she's saved up. She's ready to go. She's gonna go run to the stables and get her horse and all that shit. And then, who is it? Harry. God damn it.
I was looking for a potion. I love potion to move his heart along, because I don't need to move along his boner, because that's fine.
The boner's strong. The heart is weak.
God, you sounded like Czechoslovakian right there.
I don't know what happened there.
The point is, like, the show is actually kind of straightforward about this. Like, she's not worried about moving his dick along. She wants to move his heart along.
She knows that he's not into her.
Right.
She knows. And so Claire's like, oh, okay. Oh, this is great.
No, that's not
This
what I
is-
do. That's not what I do. That's not what I do.
It's
And
perfect.
Then she
Perfect.
looks up at her with her seemingly innocent eyes.
Oi.
And Claire's like,
Fine,
hold on.
fine.
She goes back
Turns
into
around.
her troll lodge.
And what does she get?
Horse tongue.
She pulls out the little horse tongue that we've already mentioned before and is like, huh, gross. Put this in a little packet. Hand it to her and it's like, what you need to do is sprinkle this at his door and whisper 3 times.
No, tap your heels 3 times.
And whisper 3 times, there's no place like love.
There's no place like love. There's no place like love. There's no place like love.
So, thank
It's
you.
one of my favorite time traveler jokes in the whole show.
Yeah.
Because Claire's just like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
She's like a
She
Wizard
went
of
for
Oz
the
shit,
most
whatever.
obvious thing she could come up with. And Leoch's like, oh, great. That sounds really authentic. Off I go. I hope this works.
And then she leaves with the horse shit, and
Yeah.
it's fine. And then Claire leaves, and she's making her way through
Hustling.
the weird-ass
With her
castle
skirt going-
halls. Yeah, you can hear it. And then all of a sudden, there are these 3, like, unsavory dudes.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but occasionally men are fucking terrifying assholes.
And they try to, like, rough her up, and it's very obvious
Well, they want to
They-
give her a little pickle tickle,
they're-
which we call rape.
that... Yeah, they're trying to rape her.
We call it rape.
They don't get too far, though, because they forgot about Gilf.
Forgot about Gilf.
And Gilf comes in and just, like, destroys them. He knocks them all out. All 3 of them are out. But then Gilf is standing there, and Gilf is tanked.
And Claire's like, thank you. And
And
he's
Gilf's
like,
And Gilf maybe wants a little pickle tickle too.
he says, you are a most rare woman or an extraordinary woman. Whatever the red, woman.
Yeah,
Whatever
and
the
he
fuck
just
says.
wants to get in there. And he's like puts his hand up her skirt and she's like, okay, fuck this shit. And he
Pushes him off.
pushes him off and then picks up a chair. And
No, because she
comes
pushes
back,
him off,
right?
and he notices the bundle of food. And when he sees the bundle of food, that's when she picks up like a milking stool.
Like a
It's
stool, just
occasionally
boosh.
that hallway is used for cow milking purposes.
Or
So
something.
there's a stool there, and she just knocks him right over the head.
So Gilf is knocked out and neutralized. She grabs her bag of cheese and makes her way to the stables.
You know what? That bag, I bet it's delicious. I bet it's cheese, bread, and apples.
And maybe some hams, dried meats, sausages, something.
Yeah. Tequila?
Probably not.
Whiskey.
Rhenish.
Radish.
So she makes her way to the stables, falls into some hay, and oop, who's there?
And she's like, oh, I'm just running along, and I tripped over something that feels like a hot hunk of man flesh.
And
What
I
was
just
that?
fell into this hay pile. Whoo! Who's there?
Oh!
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah. So actually, they truly had a roll in the hay.
They did.
It just
And-
happens right here.
And you think, God, I wonder why Jamie McTavish is hiding out in the stables when there's this big party going on.
Why can't he go to the party?
He could be getting his dick wet all over the place.
I mean, he wouldn't even have to go into the party. He could just be like working his way from the front door into the hall. Like he'd get his dick wet like 5 times.
Is it worth it? Let him work it. Put his thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
He could just seriously though, he could just really fuck all the way in. Like, no, but instead he's out with the horses.
Horses.
And she's like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "Well, I can't really talk about it."
But why are you here?
Why are you here? And she's like, I was coming to get the horse and I don't want to be here. And I'm just trying to leave. And he is an honorable man and he's trying to be nice to her about it. But he's like, "You can't leave."
Well, he also explains that she thinks it's a genius plan, right? She thinks she's being so smart because the gathering, everyone's going to be distracted. And he says, yes,
But
that would be a really great plan if Cullum hadn't set up extra guards everywhere because every fighting man in the entire clan is inside right now. So it would be really stupid on a million levels to just, like, all you have to do is lock the doors and throw a match in there?
Yeah,
everyone's
there's
drunk.
dudes
They would
dudes
just
on the
light up.
perimeter.
Angus alone, you throw a match on him and you've got a building-sized fire.
Right there.
Right.
So she's like, "Oh, I didn't think of that." And he's like, "I bet you didn't. Well, I'll take you back to the castle because obviously you can't leave.
Right.
And I'll take you back because she told him about how somebody tried to fuck with her and how Dougal showed up and how she knocked him out and that made him laugh."
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, yeah." And then she said,
He won't remember.
yeah, he was like, "Wait, was he drunk?" And she goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "He won't remember a fucking thing. It's fine." And so he's like, "Let's get back to the castle. Here's this little cellar way I know to get in." And he takes her over there and then boom,
Boom.
they get caught. And there are people there that...
And you think that the reason they don't want to get caught is because it'll be bad for Claire. Only they get caught and nobody gives a fuck about Claire and it's bad for Jamie.
really bad for Jamie.
So you might remember that Claire keeps calling him Mr. McTavish and people look at her like she's stupid and then she goes Jamie and they go, "Oh, right." Because none of them remember his fake name because it's not his real name because he's on the lam.
Yeah, he's running from the law, man.
Yeah. So he's essentially hiding on Mackenzie territory. And then all of a sudden, he's there. Rupert's there. They're getting him all dressed and getting him ready to swear his oath. And, like, obviously it's complicated.
So
Claire
they're
doesn't know
dragging him
why.
into the gathering, which he did not obviously plan to go to. He was hiding in the hay for a reason, and now he's getting dragged up. Yeah.
So they're getting him dressed. They're putting on a kilt. They're putting on a shirt. And
I'm sorry, hold on.
Oh man.
We get to one of the... It's... All right. This isn't a spoiler. We get to one of the hottest moments in the series, and it's just because Sam Huon, when he puts his mind to it, is a pretty good actor. Especially when his responsibility is to be hot as fuck. So Claire's helping him get ready. And Rupert hands him this pin that says, "Bun Latin dundu
But some put them in a Latin.
which means
I
I shine,
shine,
not
not
burn,
burn.
which is the Mackenzie clan motto. He says, "I can't wear this. I'm not a Mackenzie." "Do you know what my clan's motto is,
Motto.
lass?" She says, "No, I don't even know what your clan is." Be her. I don't even know her. Whatever the fuck it is.
You brought her.
I have this queued up if you need it, by the way.
Oh, we're gonna do it like 4 times.
Yeah.
So, because it's better than Julie and I trying to reenact it.
It's true.
So, I don't even know what clan you're from. And he's straightening his long shirt. And he turns in the direction of the camera without looking in the camera. And he says,
I didn't even see it. Like, Janine's computer is turned away from me right now.
Aaron, can you hit us again?
Yeah, one more time.
Ooh!
You know what? Je suis prêt. Jamie.
So prêt.
Je suis so
Je
prêt.
suis très, très, très prêt. Très prêt.
So it's like this moment. So I was rewatching this episode yesterday, and I forgot about Dre.
Grande prêt.
I forgot about Dre. I forgot about Prey.
Yay! Forgot about Prey.
And this moment happened, and I just went, "Oh God!" And it was like the floodgates and my pants open.
You told me that the exact thing you said while sitting next to your husband.
I was sitting next to him.
Oh, woof.
I did. I went, oh, woof. Like, exactly like that. While the floodgates in my nether regions opened at the same time. And I was like, oh, God, I forgot how hot.
God, thank God you weren't wearing a kilt.
Yeah, nah. I forgot. I mean, it's not easy to forget how hot he is. But, like, this moment...
Well, it's a minor moment. When you're... This is, again,
but it's
not a
weirdly,
spoiler.
I guess
you
that's what it is.
watch later episodes in the series where both Jamie and Sam Huon are doing incredibly hot things. And those are the ones you remember because they're more explicit. Mm-hmm. But this is the one where
it's
you're
just like a sneaker hot.
Oh, gimme. Just...
It's sneaker hot because it comes out of nowhere. There it is. All of a sudden, you're moist.
Right. You are ready. Which is, by the way, what je suis prêt translates to. I am ready.
So it's this just, it takes 0.2 seconds and you're just like.
Aaron. Sorry, Janine.
One more time.
Yeah!
God damn it. I'm going to cry right now.
We're not even watching it.
No, we can't even see it. We just hear it. Oy. Okay, so that happens, and Claire, her ovaries explode.
But wait, hold on just a second. What happened? You said it happened. What happened?
One more time. And then Claire all of a sudden is like, oh, I got to bone him. Like...
That is the look she's giving that I'm seeing
right
now.
Oh,
well, no. One of the things I appreciate about the show, broader point, one of the things I appreciate is that Claire does not stop talking about wanting to get back to Frank for, no spoilers. Claire spends a lot of time talking about how she wants to get back to Frank. But you can see pretty much from episode 1, but especially starting in episode 3, and it hits like peak visibility in episode 4, that, God, she's not blind.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there, and he's like 6'8",
which is real, right? Like, Julie and I are both partnered. She's been married for a zillion years. So you know, like, you're committed, you love your fella, and occasionally you're just like, woof. Especially if that person is a movie star.
She's like, woof.
And that's okay. That's healthy. And that seems to me, that's my interpretation of where Claire is right now.
Yeah, it's
like,
just like
she loves Frank, but she would be fucking, there's no way.
She'd be crazy. She's just like, you're incredibly handsome and young and like, oh, woof. Like, it's just a woof moment. Woof.
Je suis ne prêt. She's ne prêt. That's actually not right.
Is it more
Madam
like,
Ellington, I'm really sorry. I can't remember how to negate.
Is it more like je suis woof?
Is it je suis woof? No, it's je suis confusée.
I don't think she's confused. I think she knows. But she obviously can't act on it because she is a woman of honor and is married.
Je suis tingling.
Je suis moist.
Je suis moi.
Je suis. So this happens. Whatever. Now.
Je suis fuck me.
Jamie has to go in and pledge his fealty. Now, to those of us not, versed in the Highlander code, we don't know why this is such a big problem.
And neither does Claire, which is an important point. She's like, this seems like a big deal and I don't know why. But luckily,
Galus is there.
Yeah.
To tell her what's up. So Jamie gets in the line and he is the second to last or the last
Galus?
person.
I thought it was Myrta.
No, it's Galus because she's got the lover's eye. This is the one where it's Galus telling her.
But isn't Myrta there for part of it? Because Myrta gets real worried.
Oh, well, no, he is there, but so is Galus.
Okay.
Like, they're both there.
Yeah, one of my other favorite
Right,
Galus costumes.
because he is the one that's, like, explaining to her the Catch-22. So Jamie comes in, and he's getting in the line to do fealty, and you can see that he's really freaked out about
Julie, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
I just want to make something clear. Duncan Lacroix?
Always.
Anytime you want.
Always pamplemousse.
Okay, go ahead.
So they're there hanging out, and Jamie's showing up, and Claire cannot understand the tension in the room because there is tension, which is hilarious because there's been like 77 dudes or whatever, and everybody should be fucking hammered and happy by now, but they're still waiting for the dudes to go through.
It's like every time...
Pardon me, I burped.
Every time in the Harry Potter books, when Harry says Voldemort instead of "He who must not be named," and a bunch of sensible people who are mostly having a good time go,
It's like that.
It's exactly like that.
So Jamie gets
Oh
in
my
line.
god, does that make Jamie Voldemort?
Oh.
No. Oh.
Does it make King Ricketts Voldemort? No, nobody is Voldemort.
Nobody's Voldemort in this situation. What? Blackjack is Voldemort.
But is Claire Hermione? That's really what I want to know.
Oh, I'll give her that. No, she's dumber than Hermione.
Is Claire?
I think she might not be
No,
as smart as Hermione.
She's
Clever,
pretty smart.
clever,
Is
clever,
Hermione
clever.
Claire with the drinking problem?
No, Claire is Hermione with the drinking problem.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so Jamie gets in line, and Murtaugh explains to Claire that Jamie has to walk this incredibly fine diplomatic line between the fact that he belongs to Claire Fraser.
Clan.
Is that clan? Thank you. Spoiler. Anyway, Clan Fraser, and that he cannot plead fealty to Clan Mackenzie because he is the laird of Clan Fraser.
No, the Laird of Lallybroch.
Right.
So here politically, and this is an understanding that comes from book readings.
Yeah, I don't got that.
Book reading.
I don't read books good.
I read letters.
Appropriately said.
I done read it all the bookses.
I can't wait till we get to the hunt.
So, the two options Jamie has are to swear. No, it's three, honestly, and Claire fucked him out of one of them.
Right.
Not literally.
Yet.
Wink. So, one option: swear fealty to Clan Mackenzie. Another option: actively not swear fealty to Clan Mackenzie. Third option: sleep through the gathering in the
In the
stable.
hay. And you know what? Third option, out.
And
Off
that's
the
what he
table.
planned on. And then Claire fucking tripped on his nuts.
And
Which are huge.
And he had to help her back because he is
He's
a man
fucking
of honor.
gentleman. He's
and
really bad.
they sweet praise.
Je suis prêt. He's really, Jamie, adding to the list of things Jamie is bad at, Jamie is really bad at just staying in the fucking hay when he should probably stay in the hay. So he helps Claire back. So then one option is gone. So his options are swear fealty to Clan Mackenzie or say I cannot swear fealty to Clan Mackenzie. Option one means that the clansmen there will not fucking murder him because they're all there to swear fealty to the clan. Option two means they will all murder him. So it seems like you should pick option one, right? But the problem with option one is that if he swears fealty to Clan Mackenzie, a huge percentage of the people in the clan are going to think, oh, he'd be better than Dougal. Do you want to know why?
Because he's extra hot? Or because...
Because he'd be better than Dougal.
Because
Because Dougal...
je suis prêt.
Have you ever seen A League of Their Own? So, A League of Their Own is the tale of two sisters. One of whom is an excellent baseball player in control of her emotions. Oh my God! A League of Their Own is Sense and Sensibility with baseball. I just realized that.
Yes, it is.
Woo! So, going back.
Things Outlander have given us.
Right? So there's the sister who has her shit together. And then there's the sister who really wants to like get away from home and make something of herself, but is just like not in control of her emotions. And because it was during World War II, she couldn't like go to therapy.
Right.
Which what Kit Keller really needs is therapy.
Tank Girl needs therapy.
Tank Girl really needs therapy. So Julie and I watched this movie very recently. So this is why we're on the ball here. On the ball. Swing away.
Get it?
Um,
Science
Point
joke.
being, Dougal is totally Kit, and Colum is totally Dottie if Dottie had fucked up legs.
If Dottie was King Ricketts. If Dottie wasn't actually
But
physically
Dottie-
perfect in every way and
Colum,
7 feet tall.
like Dottie,
with a glow from within.
but Colum, like Dottie, is in control of his emotions. He's really
Intelligent.
smart.
He's good at what he does.
He's good with people. He understands the way the world works. He's able to moderate his temper. All these things.
Whereas
Dougal
Dougal
is totally Kit.
is Sonny Corleone.
Right. Dougal is like crying in the shower because he tried to fight Rosie O'Donnell because Tom Hanks took him out of the game too early.
Right.
Like Dougal, so that's Dougal. So here's the problem. Who do you want being in charge of your clan? Je suis prêt or Kit Keller? Right?
I think we all know the answer.
And, like, don't get me wrong, I would fuck the shit out of Dougal. But,
He can't be a leader, though.
and he's the most logical successor to Colum, who's going to die, like, 60 seconds from now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, but he's unwell. A demon's got him.
So Jamie can't straight up say...
So if he swears fealty to Clan Mackenzie, Dougal is going to fucking murder him.
Dougal will kill him right away.
So, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right. So instead what he does is plead obedience.
It's very politically savvy.
Yeah. He's like, I will obey any wish you ever have, but I cannot pledge fealty to you because I belong to another clan.
But while I am here, I will do everything you want. You have my loyalty as your clansman, your kinsman, and your subject. I think that's actually what he says. If I pulled that out of my ass right now, I'm going to be really impressed with myself. But it's something like that.
But he walks the line and he's like, I can't actually say this. Instead, I will tell you that while I'm here and you are harboring me, I will do whatever you want.
And Colum, like, stares at him.
And it takes a long time.
And his legs shake a little.
Well, they hurt.
And then he goes, it's okay.
It's great. And everybody in the room is like, oh, like there's this huge release of air. And then Jamie takes a shot of Rhenish. And then Colum takes his, 108th shot of Rhenish that night?
Yeah. Tulakhound!
Tulakhound!
And then Murtaugh walks up to Jamie and says, Jamie, God, that must have been stressful. Do you need to take a shit? And then Jamie says,
Let's remember that I have to fix this.
okay. Yes!
And so Jamie has managed to make it out of this incredibly sticky wicket unscathed. But guess what? The sticky wicket was Claire's fault, and Murtaugh lets her know it.
Yeah. I don't know if you picked up on this. I don't care how long you've been listening. I don't know if you picked up on this. We really love Murtaugh.
Yeah, we do. So then we find out that Colum, or is it Dougal, wants Claire to go on the boar hunt with them the next day.
It's a part of the gathering. They're going on this wild boar hunt in the forests.
And so it's going to be all these dudes going out to try and kill some pigs. And Claire doesn't see what the big deal is. Like, why do you need a healer? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know if you know this about me, Mr. Rogan, but I am from Arkansas. And our state mascot is the Razorback. Do you know what that is? The Razorback is a wild boar. And anybody who doesn't have experience with a wild boar doesn't understand that they are incredibly forceful and evil and will just destroy you. So Claire has no idea. Claire's going into this hunt like, whatever, pigs. And everyone's like,
no, but seriously.
you don't know my pig.
Je suis not prey.
Yeah, not prey. So here's one thing I have to do. If I can beg your indulgence.
Yes, you can.
As I went to the University of Arkansas, home of the Arkansas Razorbacks, in the show, all the men are going through the woods, banging their shields and shit, trying to
I know what's coming.
trying to get the pig to come out of the forest. But I have to let you guys know, I'm going to take off my headphones now. That's not how you call a pig. Excuse me while I scoot back from the mic a bit. This is how you call a pig.
Pig suey! Pig suey! Pig suey! Razorbacks!
So, just so you guys know, that's how they should be calling the boars, not like knocking on their shields or some shit.
Just so you guys know, I got all of that on video. It'll be available on YouTube by the time you hear this episode.
So they go out to call
We'll
the hogs.
post a link.
And then Claire realizes, oh, I'm in the shit now because it's really brutal. They're obviously trying to kill these pigs. There's a big one that comes for her, like it's real close to getting her, and then it drops dead right in front of her. Guess who killed it?
Who?
Gilf.
Yeah, he did.
It's like, thanks, Gilf. Thanks for killing that pig.
Did you need your dick sucked?
Can I just help you down below? No. Okay. So then she realizes, oh, this is actually way more dangerous than I thought it would be. And she's hearing guys screaming all over the place, and she can hear the pigs in the woods, and then all of a sudden there's a big scream. And Claire comes into a clearing in the woods, and Dougal is cradling this man in his lap. And this guy has obviously gotten hit by the boar, and he's got a bad scar on his leg, like a big cut on his leg. But Claire's like, oh, we can save this, no problem. And she starts trying to work on it, but she looks at the guy, and the guy is like, really?
His name, by the way, is Jordi.
Jordy. That's right.
Jordi.
Jordy is bleeding. His face is like extra white, and she's like, this cut is pretty deep, but it didn't hit his femoral artery, so why is he like... And then she looks over, lifts up his shirt, and his intestine is just spilling out of his cavity.
And then he looks at her and he goes, Je suis prêt le mort. That's not actually correctly conjugated. Je suis prêt. Death. Je suis prêt for death.
Poor Jordy doesn't know that this is happening in his gut. But Gilf is holding him, and Gilf understands. Gilf looks down and sees it and is like, oh shit.
It's actually a great moment for both performers, right? Like, he looks at Claire, and she gives him the tiniest shake of the head.
The tiniest, like, no, he's not going to live.
And in that moment, he just forgets that he suspects that she's a fucking British spy. He forgets that women can't know things. He just knows that, like, someone who understands the body is telling him that he's not going to live. And so he reaches down and he undoes the tourniquet that she put on his leg.
So that he can bleed out faster.
So that he'll die faster. And it's actually a really great scene. Is there a way... Can you see who played Jordy?
Jordy?
Yeah, like George, but with die on the end.
Geord.
Die.
Yeah,
Jordy.
A very well spelled name, by the way. It does end with die. Brian Larkin.
Well, Brian Larkin, good job, buddy.
He is really great. They have this conversation that's really funny where they're talking about... She asks Jordy to tell her about his home.
And he goes into this reverie, and I'm thinking in my mind, if I was dying and somebody asked me that, this would be my answer.
Oh, hit me. I'll do mine too.
It's a second floor walk up. Sometimes there are centipedes, and the traffic outside can get a bit noisy.
Here's mine. It's a garden apartment, but it's okay because there's actually a garden. And once we saw a roach the size of a Pop-Tart. But it's only $7.75 a month.
Oh man, our death scenes are
Janine,
less
do you want to
epic.
do yours?
Mine? I think mine's great.
Tell me about your
home.
I live with two guys who are never there, but my place is huge. It's like I live alone.
That's good.
I'm glad I came up with. Hey, if anybody wants to send that to us on Twitter, tell us about your home.
Tell us about your home as you're dying.
As you're dying, just tell us about your home.
Hashtag Jordy.
So,
oh, please, Jen Moniz, I'm counting on you specifically.
Spoiler alert: Jordy bites it.
But as he's telling Claire about his home, he turns to Dougal and is like, Dougal, brother, I have to know, did you fuck my sister?
And Dougal's like, yes. Yeah, I did. And he's always like, you did always have a way with the ladies. And it's like, have you seen him on a horse?
Jordy, come on. He's the man who invented golf. And you're the man who invented dying in Outlander.
So, Jordy dies. But what happens here is that Gilf gets to see that Claire is not shaken by any of this. Claire obviously has experience with men being incredibly wounded and dying in her face. And is not shaken, not crying, not upset, just like...
Not shaken,
cool.
Just stirred.
Just stirred within.
Nailed it.
And so they come back after the hunt, and everybody's sad because there's a Jordy over the horse wrapped in
Was it
blankets.
Mike's hunt?
No, it wasn't Mike's hunt.
But Mike needs a hunt. Is there a Mike hunt scheduled?
Oh god.
Mike Hunt is always there.
Guys, come on.
So shut up, Janine. So they come back, and everybody's very somber because somebody died on the hunt, and that's I would assume that happens once every couple of gatherings, but maybe not every gathering. And everybody's upset, and Claire goes back to her dungeon, and Gilf comes in, and he's like, "Hey,
Hey, baby, I got your money. Don't you worry. Hey.
I can tell that you've seen dudes die before and under violence."
And she says,
Yes, a lot.
Because remember, Claire, World War II vet.
Yeah, which I don't think that he was ready for her to just look at him and say yes many times. Like, yeah, I've been there. And he thanks her.
And then he says, have you seen the classic Britney Spears film, Crossroads? And she says, as a matter of fact, I have. And then he says, great, we're going on a road trip.
You're coming with me. Because
But seriously, he basically tells her, like, we're going to collect the rents for all of the like,
tenants on Mackenzie lands.
Yeah. You're coming with us because we could use a healer.
Mm-hmm. And why do we need a healer on a rent collection? Oh, you'll see.
Oh, you'll see.
You'll see. But we need you with us. So you're coming with. She's like, taking the show on the road. Fine.
And you can see that first she's like, fuck you. And then she goes, oh, no, wait.
Maybe I can get to the dick
Maybe I can get to the dick rocks. I know there's this really hot dude that I'm just dying to bone, but I've got a husband. I got to get to my husband.
Oh, my God. Guess what we forgot about?
What?
When they come back from the hunt.
My cunt?
When they come back from my cunt.
You guys were trying so hard for that joke, you forgot about something.
Dougal, yeah, we did. Dougal is so mad that he has to blow off some steam. And when he comes back, there are some dudes playing field hockey, which I guess is called shinty.
Shinty.
And
it's so shinty.
It's so shinty. And Dougal needs to blow off some steam. So he picks up a stick and basically lays waste to all the men on the field until there's just him and Jamie.
And then they beat the shit out of each other.
And then they truly beat the shit out of each other.
And
at one point, Gilf is like, I taught you to play this game. And Jamie's like, you did. And then
here you want to like just a little quick description of the fucking patriarchy. In any other show, somebody would have thrown water, wine, or pudding on them. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't enjoy that, but that would never happen. Instead, they were just fighting. Mm-hmm. But if those were two women, it would have been in a mud puddle.
Yeah.
At the very least. Or a pool, right? Mm-hmm. Or a bathtub, or a vat of wine.
And it wasn't in this case, however, nonetheless, incredibly sexy.
Oh, yeah, real hot. But, again, if that had been two women...
You gotta put some
imagine
lubricant.
that scene happened on Game of Thrones.
You gotta lubricate that scene.
On Game of Thrones, they both would have been covered in wine, and then they would have been killed completely unnecessarily because Game of Thrones doesn't give a fuck about the minor female characters. Mm-hmm. So then they would have just died. But instead, they're both compelling male characters, so they got to maintain their dignity while they wrestled.
And then Jamie ends up, after truly Gilf gets several good blows in, Jamie flips him over onto his back, onto like this huge slow-mo, like,
and acting the dreams of women everywhere.
Woof.
Woof.
Woof. Woof. And so, sorry, we missed that part. And then that's when Gilf goes down. It's like, you're coming with us, Claire. You're coming with us on the road. But I didn't want to miss the shinty fight because it was too good.
So that sets us up for a really solid road trip episode I'm excited to talk about.
She does come out. They leave the next morning, and she's on a horse about to head out, and she is wearing a very fancy road coat with the big white fur. I'm like, where did that come from?
That was actually in the pictures I looked on IMDb just now, and I was like, I thought that was a bigger thing.
Right.
But apparently it was so impressive, even in that last moment, they were like, no, but this was part of that episode.
Yeah, because the rest of the time she's wearing homespun most of the time, and then all of a sudden she's coming out in this ermine shit, and I'm like, where did she get that coat?
Well, maybe the women leave the castle so infrequently that they all share one nice coat.
Well, it's extra fancy.
Oh, God.
And she is rocking that coat when they leave.
She's so fancy.
But they leave. They're taking the show to the road to go collect all their rents. We're about to meet one of my favorite characters from season 1. I'll keep that a secret.
It's the same character, I'm
Same guy.
assuming. Yeah.
Yes, same person. But that's the end of that episode.
All right, so scales. As always, these scales are not planned. And because we record episodes back to back now, this is
We're
the
fucking
second
hammered.
episode we've recorded. So we've gone through most of a growler of oatmeal stout in addition to an earlier growler.
Entire growler.
Yeah, nailed it. So it's going to be harder for me to pick things, but I'm going to do my best for you, our listeners.
You can do it. All 6 of them.
All 6 of them. It's actually way more than 6. We found this out recently.
But 6 is a good joke.
It's really funny. Thank you all. We love you.
We love you all so much.
So let's start with costumes.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale, let's see, we've got outerwear, we've got fighting, we've got the gathering. Let's see. On a scale of the music video for 500 Miles by the Pretenders
Because it's Scottish.
to the music video for the single I'm about to write about Braveheart. Populated by drag queens.
Okay. Well, I can't go as far as the drag queens because we have a couple of fancy items because they're at the gathering.
We also disagree about one costume.
And I really did not like Claire's fancy drag. I got to put this into a category of costumes that fit the bill, but I did not care for. Oh. There's this weird Terry Gilliam movie.
This weird Terry Gilliam movie is like an unnecessary
Right,
statement.
I understand. There's this Terry Gilliam movie that stars Christoph Waltz. What's it called?
Really?
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, Gilliam. Neil and I tried to watch it. We tried to watch this movie on Netflix because we both appreciate Terry Gilliam's.
And then who?
And Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Damn.
Christoph? How do you spell it, Christoph?
see,
Like Christopher without the ER.
yeah, Christoph. No
Je
ER.
suis no ER.
We tried to watch this on Netflix because we like both Terry Gilliam and.
This doesn't work. What IMDb just gave me was the Graham Norton show.
No.
No.
Anyway, it was some weird ass movie.
The Zero Theorem.
Yes, the Zero Theorem, in which Christoph Waltz plays a genius who works at some like bumbling 9-to-5 job in the future. Might sound a little bit like Brazil to you. It is. And everybody has this weird kind of semi-futuristic costumes, but they're all kind of shitty. So yeah, that movie.
Cool. All right. So doing it.
Well, je suis prêt.
Right.
What?
All right. I'm trying to give you good options for this. So let's go from the Lego movie. Have you seen the Lego movie?
Yeah, I've seen the Lego movie.
All right. So the Lego movie.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're
fucking
fucking
a Scotsman.
Oh, ooh. Oh, that's
Yeah.
I like to rewrite lyrics. All right. So Lego movie to oh God, I'm just gonna be obvious. Let's say 9.5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's a
there's
little
your
bit
scale.
too high because we're not actually.
Right.
that
But
shit.
it's a great non-sex sexy moment.
Well, you know what? I actually brought it up earlier, and I think I'm going to bring this into the mix. It's a lot of tension. There's a lot of flirting. We get to see the moment where he says, Je suis prêt, and we're like, you're the hottest dude that's ever lived.
Yeah.
And you know what? In like 1986, Bruce Willis fit that bill, and I'm going to say Moonlighting.
Ooh.
Just the entire series of Moonlighting until they actually got together. Not after they got together, but up until they got together where the sexual tension was so hot.
Yeah, sexual tension, that's good. I'm not sure that I would say that Bruce Willis was the hottest dude that ever lived in the
May
80s.
I?
No, but he was
Oh,
definitely...
Janine, are you weighing in? You never weigh in.
I don't, but
Janine.
I always feel like I'll be judged for my opinions on this.
No,
'Cause
hit
Well,
it.
I mean, yes, you will.
You know
but-
what? Hit it and then don't quit it because we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
I would actually, to the point of that, where it's like this sexual tension thing, I would say Vanilla Sky before the accident.
That's great because Vanilla Sky after the accident is a piece of garbage.
But
is-
pre-accident
I like
sweet?
it- I
I've
like
never
it
seen
still,
it.
But I understand.
But
how
before, that's great.
Yeah.
Open your eyes. That's great. That's a great example. All right, last one. Willingness to get up and get another beer.
This one, I'm sorry, give me the scale, but I'm thinking about it while you do.
Because I will say, before I give you the scale, that for an episode that's relatively low-key, I actually think it's really hard to step away. Mostly because it's so focused on Claire escaping, and then Claire's escape plan fucks the other most interesting character in the show, but not literally, which is the only thing that could make it more interesting.
Right.
Well, and they've been talking about this episode for fucking 3 episodes.
The Gathering! The Gathering!
The Gathering.
All right, so let's say... RuPaul's Drag Race Season 1 premiere.
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
That's the low end. Because that's the low end. 2, Star Booty. No, that's not right.
I don't know enough about Star Booty.
I said that for jokes. Okay, so Season 1, Episode 1. 2, hey, the most recent episode of All Stars.
Oh. Well, the most recent episode of
I
All
should say this
Stars-
to our listeners. You should watch RuPaul's Drag Race, especially All Stars. If you really love it, and enough of you tell us you love it, Julie and I will start talking about it on
We
the
will talk
internet.
about it all the time.
We love it. So, anyway.
Well, this last episode... Man, I don't know. I know it wasn't as low as Season 1, Episode 1, because back then they didn't know it was going to be a hit, so they were just kind of throwing
Well, then
shit
let me
at a wall.
revise. Let's
No, hold
say
on, hold
your
on.
least interesting Drag Race episode to your most interesting Drag Race episode. And then pick a Drag Race episode.
Okay, I'll pick a Drag Race episode. It's going to be somewhere closer to the most interesting episode and less on the lower end of the scale. So maybe I'll say the episode... What season was Manila Luzon? 4?
2.
2?
She was
Luzon
Raja
season 2?
season.
Oh my God.
Wasn't it? Was Raja 3 or 2? I think she was 2.
I don't remember.
Because I think Tyra was 3. No. That's
Tyra
wrong.
1, 2.
Tyra was 2. So Manila was 3.
3. Okay, so season 3, I'm going to go with the episode that Manila got eliminated on.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Because that was a good episode, and you really thought Manila was going to pull through, and then she had one of the best fucking lip syncs of all time, and they got eliminated.
That's good. No, seriously, people of the internet, we love you, and we love RuPaul's Drag Race. And if you love RuPaul's Drag Race, we will talk about it. Only we know there are people on the internet that want to talk about Outlander. We are less certain that there are people on the internet that want to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race and will actually listen to us.
Yeah, we think that the Venn diagrams don't actually cross.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're near each other, but the balls don't actually
But you let us know. If you want a Drag Race show, you let us know. We can
balls
make that
don't
happen.
touch.
They're like non-skinny jean balls.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so
Jinkos.
that's the end of this episode, but I think it's great. And hey, cheers to Diana Gabaldon.
Yeah, she had it.
It's a really good cameo.
Oh, and you know what? So did Ronald Moore had a cameo in this one too.
Oh, I didn't know
but
that.
I don't know who he was. He was just in some group.
I can find that out if you'd like.
Yep.
Sorry,
There
I
you
was
go.
looking up the Drag
Please.
Race people, so it takes me a little bit.
We recently introduced Janine to Drag Race.
Which is spectacular.
right?
Janine's the best.
So who am I looking up? Roger.
Ronald
Ronald
Moore.
Sorry, Ronald Moore.
While he's looking that up, we need to thank our Patreon patrons, the people who've pledged at a level where we say their names every episode, like they own Miller Lite, a fine Pilsner beer, are Amanda Newton, Beth Locke, and Kathleen Moniz.
Ronald was apparently, if he was in it, he was not in something they would list on IMDb.
Yeah, no, I think he was in one of the group scenes. He was just hanging out.
It wasn't on one of his lower, because you had to find him as a producer or showrunner.
I mean, yeah, it's like if he's on there as executive producer,
He was either, I guarantee he was either
Qualified.
in the crowd at the gathering at some point, or maybe he was one of the rapists.
They don't list extras in that regard, because I'm in Glee in the Britney Spears episode.
What?
Yeah.
How have you never told me this?
Because these are things that don't get brought up
Wait.
often.
We're gonna have to come back to that in the spoiler section.
Okay, we'll come back to that in the spoiler section. So, but for our listeners,
No, for everybody else. What the fuck? You were in the fucking
I'm in the Britney Spears episode. If you want to find Janine in the Britney Spears episode of Glee, when they are in the auditorium about to introduce the act, there's a panning shot of the student body looking in the gymnasium, and the principal is speaking into a microphone.
Yeah.
On a profile for the principal. I'm basically at the end of the microphone when you start.
We're going to find a screenshot and share it on Twitter. But for now, because it's been a couple episodes now since we said everyone who's backing us on Patreon. So at the $10 level, you get name dropped every episode. That includes higher levels. So we have 3 people who fall into those categories. But every once in a while, we're just going to say everybody. So thank you so much, like crazy much. I can't
so
tell
weird.
you
I
how
love
special it makes us feel. Thank you to Amanda Newton, Beth Locke, Kathleen Moniz, Samantha, whose last name is not provided, Rose Cardiel, you know what? This is the highest compliment I can play you, Rose. Rose Elizabeth Young, Liz Young, Jen Moniz, and Al Iverson. Thank you so much. We're going to move to the spoiler section in just a second. So if you want to listen to spoilers or listen to roughly 10 seconds of yakety sax, stay tuned. If you want to be unspoiled, stop listening as soon as we say goodbye and come back to it later. But thank you so much for listening. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/PodlanderCast, twitter.com/PodlanderCast, patreon.com/PodlanderDrunkcast, all the things. Find us on the internet, say nice things. We love you. We want to hear from you. Please tell us what you think. And spoilers coming.
Bye.
Welcome to Spoiler Schmoiler.
We really need some suggestions.
I know. Please
Come
send
on,
us-
guys.
I mean, so now we're recording 2 at a time, so it's distinctly possible that one of you has had a brilliant idea that we haven't had a chance to implement yet.
But come on.
But, like, please, really. You're also funny. You say such funny things on the internet, all 6 of you. One of you must
of
have
you
a
has a
great
great
idea.
idea.
And it's not Spoiler Schmoiler. Spoiler Tonia.
It's also not like Spoilerlander. Which we considered for a hot minute.
Spoilander?
No. It sucks. You guys help us.
Sing me a song of a lass that is spoiled.
Jesse
That's-
spoiled?
Je
suis
suis spoiled.
You know what? That's not bad.
Okay.
That'll be our backup. All right. So, hey, speaking of Je suis spoiled, our spoiler section this week is devoted to how they just don't even attempt to hide that eventually they're going to fuck the shit out of
They're
each
just
other.
going to have so much sex.
And it's really the je suis prêt. What? It's really the what? That really pushes it over the edge.
Oi. Well, because she's already had the flirty scene with him where she was drunk in the other episode, like trying to rebandage him. But then that moment, he's hotter than any man has ever been, save for
true.
Paul Newman in HUD.
I would also accept Paul Newman in basically any movie.
Have you ever seen that scene in HUD where it's Paul Newman and oh God, what's her name? Patricia. It's the hottest thing I've ever seen.
Here's what I'll present. What about Paul Newman at the beginning of Cat on Hot Tin Roof, where he's supposed to be sexually ambivalent, or if you're not making Hollywood movie, then he's gay. But Hollywood. So he's sexually ambivalent.
I mean, Tennessee Williams pretty much wrote that in there.
I know, but in the movie, it's not the case.
Yeah.
In the play, that's what it is. In the movie, it's not the case. And yet, despite this,
Patricia Heaton. No, not Patricia Heaton. That's horrible.
but despite this, all you want is for Elizabeth Taylor to rip his very tidy pajamas right the fuck off him and go to fucking town.
Here's what happens in HUD, and here's why I will tell you it's hotter. It is Paul Newman, younger than Paul Newman in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So more virile, more like young, dumb, and full of cum, Paul Newman.
Oh, gosh.
And he plays the ne'er-do-well son of a very successful rancher in Texas, so he's never had to do anything, and so he's just kind of an asshole who does whatever he wants. And then there's Patricia Neal, who is the only woman in 500 miles of this ranch, and she runs like the kitchen and shit. She's the only woman. And you know what? She's not fancy. She's just wearing a house dress, and she's barefoot.
She's not fancy.
No. But it is the sexiest I can't describe to you how sexy the scene between these two people is.
Hey, Janine, would that be your pick for the sexiest scene in a movie you've ever seen?
Well, without actual P&V, yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the sexiest non-sex scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they are
Sexiest
just like...
non-sex scene in a movie.
Ooh, I don't know if I can do this on the spot. Because this is one of those things I gotta...
Go with your instinct.
Guys, you were talking to a guy who just fucking loves movies and any sort of love scene that exists. Like, right now, where my head just went was Freddie Prinze Jr. movies. Like...
Fine.
That's fine.
Like, God. Well, easiest one because I can remember it. She's All That. Like,
Yeah.
that fucking scene where he walks out and they have, like, the lights on the fucking pool deck and it's like, kiss me. Like, literally.
Lisa, is that a Lisa Loeb song?
No, Sixpence None the Richer.
Sixpence None the Richer. Mine, again, off the top of my head, because I don't know if you know this, but we don't plan a fucking thing.
We don't talk about these things ahead of time.
All we know is what episode we're going to talk about.
And then eat a chip.
So we eat some chips. There you just heard Julie crunch. We try really hard to not eat in front of the microphone.
But they're so good.
Yeah. So mine would be Teenage Wedding in Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Sexiest non-sex scene. That's my choice. But there are better choices. I mean, there's a whole world. There's a whole world of movies. You know what? There's that scene in It's a Wonderful Life when Jimmy Stewart is kind
And
of
he grabs
shaking
her. Grabs her and he says, "You're going to be with me, see? And we're going to be together." And it's like, oh, Jimmy Stewart.
Oh my, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Even as we talk about that, I regret my choice.
Jimmy, I didn't know.
Also, it's not a good movie, but there's Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls.
Yes, absolutely.
Which to me is a hilarious joke now, though. Like that.
But still, they don't have sex in that scene.
They don't.
No, that's true.
No.
That's true.
That's
But
weird.
basically, the spoiler is that Jamie and Claire are going to get P&V real soon.
Yeah. And it's like, and from here, this is really the episode where it becomes very apparent. And it's mostly because of that. Because of this.
Oh God, I fucking.
Oh,
Because of
Janine.
Jessie
It
Prey.
again.
That's all right. You weren't
Hold on.
you weren't prey that time. That's fine.
Oh, I missed it. Do it again.
Do you need it one more time?
Yeah. Because of that obviously Claire's like, "Oh, you're ready? So am I."
Or I will be anyway.
Let's just, you know what? I'm going to think about that when I go to bed in my sumptuous bed in Castle Leoch tonight. Just going to...
And I'm going to convince myself it's because I miss my husband.
Yeah, I'm going to convince myself it's because I miss Frank.
And she does miss her husband. It's what I appreciate.
But it's also because she wants to climb that redwood.
well, and who wouldn't?
I mean,
This
nobody.
is why, and no, you know what? I'm not going to go there. My relationship doesn't matter, and neither does anyone else's. But I would say that regardless of my particular choices, Julie's particular choices, Aaron's particular choices, I am generally in favor of people defining their relationships any way they want to. So people who have non-monogamous relationships, Jamie Fraser salutes you.
Just get in there. Just go find him.
Je suis prêt. That's great.
That's it.
So it's a really good teaser episode for teaser. I can't.
You brought her. She's your sister. I don't even know her.
I can't. It's just so.
It's incredibly hot.
It's really hot. So it's like this isn't spoilers really so much as our opportunity to be like, woof.
Just like extra woof. Like woof, woof.
Can I have a woof with a side of woof?
Woof.
And some extra woof. Like, please.
I actually said woof out loud.
I know.
Neil was sitting right there. Woof. I couldn't even stop it. It just happened.
You forget. It's easy to forget, especially at the beginning, because you get really accustomed to how hot he is. right? So when you restart it, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot he's beautiful. Like in the last first episode, we were talking about how he's actually hotter when he has blood all over his face. And then last night, again, Kevin out of nowhere, because now, despite the fact that he didn't like the show, Kevin is following Outlander news, was talking to us about how he saw on-set photos from season 3 where somebody is painting blood onto Sam Huon's face. So he thought of Julie and I.
Because we were talking about how hot he was bloody. And I'm like, I can help you with that.
I have one word for you. And Julie, what word is that?
Woof.
Yes, it is.
Maybe you have a couple other words, like maybe they are.
Yes, those are the other words. All right, that's going to be it. I know that's not spoilery, but those of you who stuck around, I hope you're amused because Julie and I are not in control of our faculties right now.
We're too busy thinking about that.
Thinking about that. All right, we will be back next week for you to talk about the episodes leading up to the wedding, which is how we're going to define every episode leading up to the wedding. This episode is still not the wedding. And thank you to everybody who voted on Twitter for Janine to watch the wedding.
It's going to be sumptuous, hilarious,
I'm
and
going
weird.
to give him a pillow so he can hide his boner.
I'm going to
That's
have...
really considerate.
I'm going to have lots of snacks. I'm going to make sure that there's snacks. And I'm also
You
going
know
to...
what? We should embrace it. It should be like oysters.
Well, but we should also let these spoiler people know that we're gonna try and record my reaction.
Oh, yeah. We're going to put a mic in front of Janine so that when he goes, you
will be able to hear it.
guys, can we pause for a minute? I have to go to the bathroom.
I'm sorry. I need a minute.
Mom, I hope you're not watching this.
No, but Mom, it's like a radio show, though. It's on the internet.
Oh, fair.
Also, Mom, your son is a delightful, very respectful human.
It's true. It's true.
Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
That's Janine, whose name is Aaron. We'll be back next week, slightly more sober. Yay!
Slightly. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.